Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Crossover U podcast, brought to you right here on the Crossover Media Network. My name is Kanaye, and today I'm just going to make a quick video for you guys on tournament expansion. How NCAA president came out and talked about the March Madness potentially moving into a 72 or 76 team format rather than a 68 team playing field, which we currently have. Basically, what that would do is that would add additional playing games. Um, and basically, those playing games would be in each region, each of the four regions in the bracket, instead of just having two or two to four playing games, however many there are currently, to determine some of those 16 seeds. So each quadrant of the bracket would have their own individual playoff playing games, my mistake, to determine who would be the last 16, the last two, 16 to 15 seed in those brackets. So, I think quite honestly, this is a stupid idea. I think if you're a fan of college basketball, you should also think this is a stupid idea. And I think they're tampering with a product which is already just completely fine as it is. I understand the NBA, the MLB, they've made rule changes to try to increase viewership because of drops in viewership over the years. The NBA added the NBA Cup to try to encourage players and teams to try more in the regular season because you have guys running up and down the floor, chucking three pointers, and it's not fun to watch. And I think adding the NBA Cup has added an aspect to the game which has made it a little bit more compelling, a little bit more motivating, I think, for players to try to earn a chance to go to Vegas and compete for in that tournament for an NBA Cup or the cash prize or whatever it is that they get as a merit for winning an NBA Cup. The MLB has changed some of the rules in terms of like the pitch clock and trying to speed up the game because a lot of people have kind of started growing bored with watching baseball games and the viewership has been down. And so, those were changes that were needed to be made in order to help increase viewership or address problems with viewership. March Madness does not have any problems with viewership whatsoever. It is one of the most watched sporting events in the country. I mean, in the world. And in my biased opinion, I think it is the best playoff in sports. Um, and I just think you have you have the NCAA who's so money hungry and so all about themselves and making their next dollar that they're willing to tamper with a product which is already so great and so, exciting as it is. And, people, I think the only argument I could see being made in favor of this is allowing more teams a chance to compete in March and to compete for a national championship. But every team has equal chance of competing for a national championship and making the tournament going into the season. I mean, you're upset about teams not making the tournament, then play better in this during the season. I mean, if you don't make the tournament, then that's on the teams for not being able to play better, not being able to recruit better. I think I think the transfer portal has done more than enough. Both transfer portal, NIL has done more than enough to increase parity across the sport. So it's not just blue blood schools and high, um, teams programs with a lot of prestige just competing for this, same teams with prestige competing for their championship every year. I think we're, especially this season, we've gotten arguably off to the best start in college basketball in the last 5 years. And I think parity across the sport is stronger than it's ever been. And I just think adding more to a tournament that is already so tough in trying to win six straight games, in which it's not a playoff series where you could be a one seed, you could come out and have a really bad shooting night and your season's done. And, any team can get hot on any given night and beat any other team. I mean, that's what makes March Madness and the NCAA tournament so great. And, arguably the best playoff format in sports. And I just think these football minded NCAA bigwigs and their president just with money on their mind and how much they've done with conference realignment to ruin rivalries which have made the sports and made fans across the world like so happy to watch every year. And it's really disappointing, I think, to see the NCAA really mismanage everything over the last few years. This is just the things they've screwed up on. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I think NIL is great. These players should be able to make money for the amount of money they bring into not only the NCAA but the universities they play for. They should be able to make money. That's fine, but they needed to. They should have had rolled it out with some sort of regulation. Right now, it's essentially free agency. These guys are professional athletes at this point, which I understand it's fair for them to be able to make money. I'm fully behind that, but there needed to be some sort of regulation, and they didn't do that. And now it's just a free for all in the transfer portal and recruiting freshmen um, to come play college basketball. And I just think the mismanagement of college basketball the last few years by the NCAA has been really piss poor, and it's really frustrating to see as a college basketball fan. And I mean, they said it'll never go exceed 72 to 76 teams if we're to move to that larger format. But I mean, they're just saying this now. All it's going to take is for them to grow more money hungry, for them to make it a 80 team tournament, or who knows, it could be a 100 team tournament one day. But I just think you have a product, you have a tournament that is completely fine as is and brings in enough viewership and money every year for you. Like no one watches the playing games as it is right now. No one's going to watch these additional playing games. And I just think it doesn't really make much sense to me to add this and really alter a tournament that's already fine as it is. So, those were just my thoughts on this. I really hope that they don't proceed and move forward with these plans. If they do, I mean, we as fans have no say or control of this, so it'll ultimately be what it is. But I just think I really hope that the NCAA just really realizes that what they have is completely fine and perfect as it is. And if you change it, then you might ultimately end up ruining it. So yeah, that'll just cover everything for this quick episode today. Definitely try to be releasing more over this as we get into the later months of as we get into conference play in college basketball this season. I know that's already booted up for a few teams. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting, really, really fun start to the season. So yeah, me and Josh will be continuing to put out content. So until next episode, I'll see you all next time.